You're listening to Radio Maria Canada, a Catholic voice wherever you are. We now present Faith, Purpose, and Power, an inspirational talk show designed to uplift, empower, and guide listeners through faith-based teachings and practical strategies. Now, here's your host, Grace Shonhiwa.
Faith, Purpose, and Power, Episode 14. Living with Faith in Action, inspired by St. Vincent de Paul. Hello, my beautiful family, and welcome back to Faith, Purpose, and Power. I'm your host, Grace Shonhiwa, and I'm so grateful you've joined me today as we celebrate the month of the Seven Sorrows of Mary, Our Lady of Sorrow. A season to pause, reflect, and surrender ourselves and more deeply to God's perfect will. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the family. This is a space where we grow in faith, discover our God-given purpose, and activate the power God has placed inside each of us. As we close off the month of September, we reflect on a season we have been celebrating, the month of the cross and of Mary's sorrow. Throughout this month, we're focused on Christ's sacrifice and Mary's perseverance, love, and trust in God's plan. Let this reflection continue to inspire you to carry that same spirit of compassion and service into your daily life. Before we dive in, grab your Bible and your journal because today's episode is going to be deep. Lean in and take notes and allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you directly to your heart. And if you love to connect more, you can find me on social media at Grace Chieza. Don't forget to use the hashtag Faith, Purpose, and Power, Faith, Purpose, and Power, to share your reflection and testimonies. I love hearing how God is moving in your life. Today's episode is extra special because we're celebrating the feast of St. Vincent de Paul, whose life of service and love for our friends in need continue to inspire us to live our faith through action. To guide us in this conversation, I am joined by Belinda Boyd, the president of St. Vincent de Paul Society, British Columbia in Canada, who will share her journey, her faith, and practical ways we can put love in action. Before we welcome our guest, our scripture reading for today, Matthew 25, verse 35 to 36. Matthew 25, verse 35 to 36. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I'll read that again. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. James 2, verse 14 to 17. James 2, verse 14 to 17. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith, but has no deeds? Faith by itself, it is not accompanied by action in need. Indeed, these verses remind us that faith without action is incomplete, and that when we care for our friends in need, we are caring for Christ Himself. With this reflection in mind, let's welcome Belinda Boyd as we open our hearts to an inspiring conversation about faith, living our purpose, and serving with love. Belinda, welcome to Faith, Purpose, and Power.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you for inviting me to join with you to talk about the Society of St. Vincent de Paul and what it means to me in my role. Thank you.
Thank you. Belinda, as we begin, so our first topic is faith, journey, and calling. Faith, journey, and calling. Belinda, could you briefly share your journey of faith and what led you to join St. Vincent de Paul Society?
Well, I'm what you call a cradle Catholic, and I've been in the church for all my life. And it always, I was taught always to serve and to support. But St. Vincent de Paul in general called to me because we had within my conference, there were two gentlemen who really walked the vision and the mission of St. Vincent de Paul, and they carried it for the church, and it seemed like they were doing amazing things, and it really spoke to my heart to want to learn more. And I remember going to the first meeting that I was invited to. Well, they put out a call. They were looking for more people because they were aging, like a lot of people are in the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. They were aging, and they wanted to bring people into it to sort of carry on the work. And I remember being in the meeting and thinking, I think I could do this. I could be part of this. This is something that speaks to my heart, and wanting to help people. And they talked to, a lot about the people that they were helping and the requests that they would get for support and how they would respond to those needs. And it just really resonated with me, with my faith and my belief that we are called to serve, and obviously with the scripture reading that you did. When I'm hungry, you fed me; when I was thirsty, you gave me to drink; and when I needed clothing, and when you invited me in, those things really resonate with me. And Saint Vincent de Paul emulates that. It walks that. In its day to day. And so for me, that was going back now over maybe about 20 years ago. And it just was something I felt really called to do. So.
Wow. Thank you so much. When you just explained, from working with St. Vincent de Paul for a very long time, that really, for those that are listening and want to join Belinda as a living example, I'm sure you will learn a lot from this interview and this talk that we're going to be having with Belinda. Leadership and vision. As the current president of St. Vincent de Paul, British Columbia, what does your role involve, and what would you like to see change or grow in your area of service?
Well, the president role is the same, actually, overall for all at the conference level, at the council level, at the regional or national. It relatively is very similar in that it guides that particular level of the conference and supports. I have to say, at the regional level, it's been different. It's certainly, for me, it's been an education around, what's involved, because now you're offering support and guidance to a lot of councils and conferences. And just like everything in life, the requests and the needs are exponentially greater when you go broader in a regional sense. And I know when I when I was considering the role, it really struck me about the responsibility level that it held, being at that level, but also the opportunities to be more cohesive and more supportive of the conferences. And I know I really wanted to support them in their capacity building, because that's one thing that people always seem to mention, is that people are aging, or people have limitations, or they don't have the resources. So for me, I was excited about stepping into that role in order to look at how to help people build their capacity, either at the conference or the council level, and even going up to national and supporting that level of the organization, because there is such great need, and it's just growing. It seems, especially in this province, which is very unaffordable for many, many people, very challenging. The needs are great. And so to be able to support the conferences and the councils to build their own capacity to meet that need, and to extrapolate that up to the regional level and then the national level is what really appealed to me in my role. And I come from a quality improvement background. That's my professional background. So it really tied in for me, both growing in the faith and the walk, but also trying to be more effective, I guess is the way to say that. So.
Wow, thank you so much. Especially with somebody that has a background like yours and taking this role, I would say maybe it's a walk in the park for you.
Ooh, I don't know if I would say a walk in the park. I find myself challenged every day in the role, because the requests are so far-reaching and also so heartfelt. Like, people are really seeking to do what they're called to do, but sometimes they have barriers or limitations, and so to be able to help support them to overcome those barriers or find ways to build capacity, that's something that really fills me up, I have to say. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Next question for you is what does it mean to be a Vincentian for you?
Definitely the whole approach of St. Vincent de Paul of just being not the one who's the focus, but to focus on the need of the individual. And when people come to you, to feel that you can really take the time to understand and listen and feel their need. And that's one thing that I found very interesting, because even though I've moved into this role from a regional perspective, and there's a lot more administrative aspects to it, I still, that the day-to-day, when you can connect with people, when you can go on a visit, when you can talk with people and really try to get a sense of what it is that they're struggling with, that for me is the Vincentian walk. That is the true heart of, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, because it can sometimes get clouded by some of the other details that happen. And so it always, for me, is good to step back and be able to meet people where they're at and really feel that spirit of St. Vincent de Paul and Frédéric Ozanam and the people who founded and grew this organization in that spirit of, living the gospel message by serving Christ in the poor, and the key words with love, respect, justice, and joy, and just really feeling that those feelings when you're in that role. Yeah, for sure.
Wow, thank you. Mission of St. Vincent de Paul. For those new to St. Vincent de Paul, could you explain its mission and the work being done by to support our friends in need?
Sure. Well, the mission is that the Society of St. Vincent de Paul is a lay Catholic organization whose mission is to live the gospel message by serving Christ in the poor with love, respect, justice, and joy. And then the values that we have is that as Vincentians, we see Christ in anyone who suffers. We come together as a family. We have personal contact with the poor, and we help in all possible ways. And I think for me, that having that kind of freedom, that broad way of just saying, meeting people where they're at and helping in all possible ways, gives you a freedom to really live the gospel and to live what I know I've been called to do, or feel like I've been called to do, but also to be able to be that open and giving with people if you have the resources, and that's the key too, if you have the resources, but to be able to open yourself up and to really try to understand the need and make that connection between the mission and the values. So in conferences and councils, it manifests differently. In my conference, I can speak to that. We do a lot of response for food security and housing. So housing and food tend to be the biggest asks that we receive on a regular basis, and I think that's pretty consistent across the board. I mean, sometimes we get requests for medical needs or even just transportation or support, just prayer. But in this day and age, and probably not much different than in the day of St. Vincent de Paul or Frédéric Ozanam. Frédéric Ozanam, that was his revelation, was seeing people sleeping under bridges. I mean, we're seeing people sleeping under bridges today, so that need for housing and the need for food and things that should be basic human rights. And that's, I think, a huge part too with St. Vincent de Paul, because it's not just the needs of people, like right here and now, but also the social justice aspect, because St. Vincent de Paul, the society works very much in the role of advocacy and trying to understand the root issue and trying to advocate for people that have that are experiencing injustice. So that's, for me, that's how it manifests in the practical, and then in the system, and looking at how can we better the lives of people, create more equality, and just create a better quality of life for people.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. When you mentioned like the housing and all that, it made me also think that it's just not only the work that St. Vincent de Paul does, just not only do specifically for each country. Even myself, coming from a background of being a Vincentian in South Africa, we practically do the same thing, do housing, giving food parcels to the needy. And it's just across to any individual person that might be listening to this show and just saying, but I'm in Africa, how can I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you are in the world, St. Vincent de Paul's mission and vision, it's the same across the world.
Yeah.
We do the same work. And this is what exactly Belinda had just explained, to just say we do housing, medicals, we assist where we can, especially looking at the works that Blessed Frederick Ozanam and St. Vincent de Paul did. We are following that example, and we're doing that mission and that work.
Yes.
Joining and expanding the Vincentian family. Who can join St. Vincent de Paul, and how can parishes that don't have a conference start one?
Boy, these are really great questions, Grace. Anyone can join St. Vincent de Paul. It says it's a lay Catholic organization, but you don't have to be Catholic to join St. Vincent de Paul and to be part of the Vincentian life and to live that. So anyone can join, and you can also make the choice if you want to become a Vincentian or you want to volunteer. And I know in my conference we have both. We have people who they're not ready or don't have the capacity necessarily to commit to an ongoing role as a Vincentian, but they are very happy to get the call when, for example, not too long ago, we helped a senior who was in she had a lot of stuff in her place and she wanted to clean it out and she needed help with that. And so we had a group of people who were quite happy to do that kind of one-off, to come and help out and give their time and their skills that way. So anyone can come and join, and we welcome everyone who has a heart for helping people. And for conferences that are wanting to start, it definitely is more of a challenge to do it without a parish connection. Typically, a conference would be attached to a parish community, and that really, for the most part, is your source to a financial support in order to manifest these roles and these things that you do to help people through food security or housing or meeting their needs wherever they are at. And to do that outside is possible because we do have other means of grant there's grants available, or there's, sometimes government funding. If you're a registered charity, which we encourage all, conferences to become registered charities. So there are other ways to generate resources, or it could just be that you create a conference of people who are just responding to needs that don't necessarily have a financial attachment to them. And we know that in certain provinces now, we are seeing more conferences that are popping up that are not related or not connected to a parish. We don't have any here in BC as yet. I'm not sure if we'll find a need to get there. We're certainly looking at expanding. Right now, we're doing a lot of formation. We're trying to restart conferences. We've had 3 conferences start up in the last year, which is really exciting. And that's definitely one of my goals in this role, is to continue to, grow, like build the capacity of existing conferences, but also grow conferences, because the needs are so varied, especially in some of the remote parts of the province. So.
Oh, wow, thank you. I personally can't wait for a conference to start at my parish, St. Mary's Parish. I really can't wait. We've been working with that with Belinda also. She's helped us. We've had a couple of meetings, and we are going to be sitting down to do a final like draft to our parish priest, and present it to him and present it to the parish to the parishioners, so that we can get support. St. Vincent de Paul work also, it's not just for Vincentian only. We also get assistance from parishioners. So for me, it's something that I'm hoping and praying that it happens soon, before the end of the year. We can be able to start our own conference at St. Mary's Parish in Chilliwack. Next question for you, Belinda. Living faith through service. How does St. Vincent's example inspire you personally to save our friends in need?
Oh, in so many ways. I mean, I'm constantly humbled by the extent of the faith that people bring to their roles, and that in itself inspires me. I find in my role right now, I get to encounter a lot more Vincentians. And, before it was just at the conference level or the council level. Now I get to speak with people, and their journey and their stories humble me and really help my faith to grow in this role, and see the extent by which service to others is, it may be, people may look at it from the outside and say, oh, it's so amazing that you do all this service, but in fact it's you that is the beneficiary. You're the one who gets much more from it than the people that I think you're serving, for certain. That's certainly how I feel, and it's constantly humbling to me, and it gives me a sense of connection, I guess, to a broader to the broader community, but also it helps me connect daily to my faith and to my beliefs, and gives me a sense of purpose and a sense of being part of something, being part of God's family as a whole, and being very much connected to people. So for me, it's I can't imagine not being connected in some way, and it's a for me, it's a way to really manifest those feelings and to connect. And I recently, we have a new priest in our parish. He came recently, and he told me that when he was in his formation, he was a Vincentian, and he said, if it wasn't for St. Vincent de Paul, we might as well shut the doors of the parish, because that's the purpose. That's what we're called to do, as you said when you read the scripture reading earlier, that's what we're called to do. And I think in that calling we fulfill that. We feel that we're doing what we're called to do. So.
Yeah, thank you. I really love that when you said called to do, being a Vincentian, for me personally, it feels like it's a calling. It's like you just don't wake up and say, I want to become a Vincentian. It's a calling. You need to pray about it. You need to ask yourself, is this something that I really want to do? Because we're helping the needy and we're helping people that are vulnerable. You need to hold yourself to say, will I be able to go out there into the world? Will I be able to go out there into the streets to see people that are drug addicts, people that are sick, people that are old?
Mm.
Is it something that fulfills you, or you're just doing it for the sake of, I want to do it, I want to be seen that I'm doing charity work, but you need to do it from the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
You are called to serve as a Vincentian. It's our mission to go out there to serve. Hence, for me personally, I don't like to call them the poor. Hence, I say the friends in need, because they are
Yeah.
in need of us. They need our help. We also need help from them. We learn also from our friends in need. They might not have what we have, but trust me, believe me, we learn from our friends in need.
Hmm.
Sometimes they don't want food. All they need is to just have somebody to be there, to just talk to just listen to them, to give them a hug. I remember vividly when I started doing it. When I started doing the work of St. Vincent de Paul, I would get there and I'll give hugs to the children because I'm very passionate about the
Hmm.
kids I love. So I would get there and just give hugs. And we had some people coming through to join and like, this is not for me. The kids are dirty, people are dirty. And I'm like, when you're going to do the mission and the work of St. Vincent de Paul, you need to be able to strip yourself off your garments, off
Yeah.
your comfort zone, and be able to be there. Give them a hug. Sometimes they don't need food.
Yeah.
All they just need is a hug. They're not getting it from home or from their family. You just giving a hug, or you just being a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen. It means a lot. And also when you're serving our friends in need, you're not doing it for justification, for somebody, for people to justify you, to say, oh, you're doing a good work. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the
Hmm.
glory of God. You're not doing it to be for people to see you. Oh, Grace has helped. Oh, Belinda has helped this person. She's good. No, you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. Hence the scripture that we read at the beginning. When you're helping someone, you're not doing it for you. You're actually
Food.
helping God. The gospel even says it. When I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. It's not necessarily you giving God, but you're giving someone else in need.
Hmm.
How we translate the gospel. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was naked, you gave me something to wear. So with those people also that are listening, our mission, our goal, our vision is, if you've got something in your house that you're no longer using, that you feel you don't need to use, you can donate your stuff at the closest Catholic church that you have.
Hmm.
You just leave it there. You get to speak to either the parish priest or the secretary. Just donate those clothes, because some people cannot even afford to buy clothes from the charity shop. But you donating the clothes that you're no longer wearing to the closest church or parish or the closest Vincentian that you have, you're helping someone, you're feeding someone, you're just being there. So yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Linda, for that. You
Thank you. Beautifully said, Grace. And I'm so glad you said that too about friends in need, because actually they are looking at the language that is used right now in the mission to change that, because it does have a bit of a connotation that a lot of people aren't comfortable with, to say the poor, right? But that is changing, and that's just part of our world, our evolution as we understand and connect with people. So
Yes. That word friends in need, it was from Brother Renato, the former president before our president, the new president. He came to visit in South Africa and we're like, friend, the poor. And me and him were like, said, and we're like, and he says to us when we're driving to one of the locations that we had with our vice president and our president, then Peter and Roy, and says, we should stop calling them the poor. They are
poor.
friends in need. So from me, that stuck with me for a very long time. And it just changed. I was like, I don't like calling them the poor, because I also didn't feel comfortable saying the poor, because I can be poor also having a house, having a job. I am poor in spirit. I'm poor in some way, but they're not poor. They are friends in need. They need our help.
Yes.
As we're saying, we learn from our friends in need. They also learn from us. You might
Mhm.
have it all, but at the end of the day, there's something that you're lacking as an individual. You're lacking something that you can learn from someone that doesn't have,
Yes.
and be taught to be grateful of the little things that you have. You can be taught to be grateful of your current situation that now, because you never know what tomorrow brings.
Mhm.
God works in mysterious ways. You might have it today, it might be taken away from you tomorrow.
Yeah. So true.
And you'll be that person now needing help from the person that you walked away from the street, the person that you didn't want to help, or the person that you helped with T's and C's apply. God will take it away from you, and tomorrow you'll be needing that same person to help you. And then you need to ask yourself, are they going to help me or they're going to walk away from me? So
Yeah.
just treating each other with love, with compassion, with dignity, respect, because
Mhm.
we are friends in need at the end
Yes.
of the day. Youth, schools, and parish involvement. How can our parishes, priests, and Catholic schools and young people get involved in St. Vincent de Paul mission?
Excellent. Well, one of the ways, well, for a parish community that doesn't or that has a St. Vincent Paul, let's start with that. Let's start with someone who has a conference. There are so many ways. One of the first things I did when I started in this role was I wrote to the Archbishop and I said, can you please use your position to help us get the word out, because some of the conferences, some are very strong, they have great parish support, but many don't. And so we really need to uh, motivate and influence these parish priests to support St. Vincent de Paul. So the Archbishop very generously and kindly drafted a letter that was sent out to all the parish priests, and we encouraged all the conferences to utilize that letter to state very clearly, if you have a St. Vincent de Paul, here are the things you can do. Help profile them, help raise their awareness in within your parish that you have a St. Vincent de Paul. What are they doing in the community? How important that is, and to really recognize and support them. Give them time to talk with the parishioners, create mechanisms for them to be able to ask for financial support from the parish, support them to have meeting rooms or spaces to come together. Just all the ways to help them build their capacity to be what I always call social justice walking. They literally are, you know, such a key part of a parish community. And for those who don't have one, to encourage, if there is a movement or someone's heart's being spoken to start a community or a conference like at St. Mary's, help them in some way to make that happen. Again, give them space, give them time, come together with them, be a spiritual advisor, give them, a connection or encourage them to connect with outside external partners to grow their capacity. So there's so many ways that a parish can do that. And then within parish communities, there are a lot of young people, and to create mechanisms for them to see opportunity for them to live their faith through participation as a Vincentian or a volunteer with St. Vincent de Paul. There are so many aspects of our world that young people hunger to change, and it's such a great connection for them to live that through the Society of St. Vincent de Paul and the mission and the values that they can connect to and they feel a part of, helping people, helping feed people, helping clothe people, helping people where they're at. Young people are hungry for that, just want to do that. So reach out and tell them the stories, share the stories of what you're doing, give them a connection and a feeling of purpose in that. So.
Wow, thank you so much. I love the part to say, give them a feeling of purpose. And I believe, especially with the young people, they need to be constantly reminded to say, think of the next person, think of our friends in need before you do anything, before you complain, before you you do anything, just think of our friends in need.
Yeah.
Like I always say, reverse the tables and put yourself in that person's shoes. Put
Mm-hmm.
yourself at the next end of not receiving, not having what you have currently. You are now on the receiving end. How would you want the next person to help? How do you want the society? How do you want people to help you in general? Not only Vincentian, not only St. Vincent de Paul, but the next person. Are you comfortable with going out there to ask for help? Are you comfortable with giving help to those that need it? So I think it's just a foundation where I believe personally it needs to be taught from a young age. Schooling,
Mhm.
youth, parishes, and all that. That is actually my goal and my mission to one day to be able to go out there into the schools, particularly Catholic schools, to be able to teach children on how they can be able to help our friends in need. And also
Mhm.
being involved now with PrEP, I also want to incorporate that to be able to bring it out to say, be grateful of the little things that you have because tomorrow it might be taken away. Be able to help our friends in need because tomorrow you don't know where the future holds. You don't know how God works. And
Mhm.
you might not have it tomorrow, and the next person that you've been looking down on might be the one helping you tomorrow.
Mhm. I had the amazing opportunity presented to me to go as a representative of my conference to a school where for their Lenten journey, instead of using the box to put money in, they asked the kids to bring in items like toothbrushes, hair combs, scarves, mitts, toques, things like that. And they collected them all. And then I got to go and sit with them and talk with each group about St. Vincent de Paul and how St. Vincent de Paul, was called to help those in need. And then Frédéric Ozanam started the society. So I was able to talk to them, and I even found a little book. It was like a children's book on St. Vincent de Paul. And so I told them stories, and so I can see exactly what you're saying. There's so many opportunities to connect with children and young people about this calling and this need and connection to helping those in need. And I was able to tell the kids, this is who it will go to, people who really do have a need, and they will be so grateful for what you've shared with them. Yeah.
For me, I miss the second Saturdays of going to visit our friends in need. I really hope and pray that one day I'll be able to go out there to just give back to the community, give back to our friends in need. Because I felt like, a weekend, you already look forward to it. Like, okay, this weekend, my first half of the morning, I attend mass, I go my 2 hour services. I am going there to give out food parcels and connect and just laugh and hear these children sing, dance. Like now they're going to be preparing for Heritage Day in South Africa. And they've asked the children of St. Vincent de Paul to come and do a traditional dance for the parish in
Uh-huh.
celebration of Heritage Day. And for me, I was like, we started small. We nurtured this children, and now they, actually when they started, people really loved it. No, it has become a constant. Every year, those young people are called to just come and dance and just sing and present their talents, because you never know who might notice you. With these people that we are saving, they might not have it, or they're trying so hard to get maybe their degrees to go to school, but you never know. There's somebody that has it all in the background, but don't know what to do, don't know how to use their resources. They can pick that person from the crowd and nurture them and support them and take them off the streets and help them to become the next CEO, the next priest,
Mm.
the next nun, because you never know.
Yeah.
As much as and it's difficult for us to see people that are struggling, that are suffering in the streets there, and we label and we judge them. For me, it really breaks my heart when I see the homeless people. I start asking myself, what really happened? Where did
Yeah.
we miss it?
What's their story?
What's their story? And then I ask myself, it could be from home. And then it's a child that just decided to be rebellious. And now there was no turning back. The crowd that they surround themselves with. That's why they say, show me your friends and I'll tell you a lot about you. And I'm thinking, if we capture them from a young age to go out there, as Vincent also, to say to the schools, to the churches, to say, as parents, this is how we speak to our children. This is how we can help them to mold them to become better people and tell them the crowd that you surround yourself, it can either make you or break you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see yourself being out there in the streets, homeless, getting someone out there to help you, or you want to become a better version. You want to break that cycle that you've had. Maybe your grandparents, whoever has been in the streets was a drug addict. You want to break that cycle, but it starts with you. And I feel like with us, Vincentian, it has to start with us. How did
Yeah.
it start? It started from nurturing and supporting the young people in schools, teaching them so that when they see a homeless person, they can be able to go out there and give them support. You never know. Somebody might just change just by having a conversation with the child to say,
Mhm.
oh, this child gave me a role or this child gave me clothes. I think it's time for me to change. I think it's time for me to turn my life around and go back home or do something better with my life. We can
Mhm.
break that generational cycle of having
Absolutely.
people that are a drug addict, having people that are homeless. That cycle can be broken with us, especially
Mhm.
help people that are helping the Vincentians.
Yeah, absolutely. We started a community meal at our church, and St. Vincent de Paul was very much a part of that. And the young people that came out, most of them, I'm going to say, initially were motivated because they need hours for school, so they needed to achieve something, like get a check mark for that. But what I watched was their how they opened up, like when they were starting to serve people, or we had a method where we served people like a plate like at the table. So, and then we encouraged the youth to sit with them and do the prayer before the meal. And so you just saw these kids change from, oh, I've got to be here to do my hours, to this is amazing, because people were so, they engaged, and they were so grateful to, and talked to the kids, and then they found out the stories too of people that were there, and it just changed them. So yeah, it was beautiful.
Wow. Thank you. Stories of service. Could you share one memorable moment from your work where serving our friends in need deeply touched your heart?
Ooh, it happens. It happens almost weekly. Like I'm so grateful for so many opportunities like that. But one we did just not too long ago. We did a initial home visit for a an older person who had asked for help. They were having trouble making ends meet that month. They were housed, but on assistance, like in a supported housing, and received some financial assistance. But they had an unexpected expense and were struggling. So we went and did the home visit, and at the home visit, they actually were quite upset because they couldn't invite us into their space, and they sort of showed us the door but said, I honestly, like, they opened the door quickly and closed it, and they said, I have no space for you to sit. I have no place. I would love to have you come in. I would love to have you, make some tea for you, but I have no physical space for you to sit, because my place is so crowded with things and stuff. And how that was a real barrier for them. So we met in a little tiny room just down the hall from where they were. And in the discussion, when we were meeting with them, we were able to provide them with some food, grocery gift cards, so that they could buy food for that month. And then we said, if you are ready, if you feel you want to clean out your place, recognizing that that's not easy for a lot of people that have maybe those tendencies to have a lot of stuff, we would be ready to do that. We could come and help you with that. And I was shocked when only a couple of weeks later she did phone the church office and said, I'm ready and I want the help. So we organized a group of people to go over, and we had a very specific kind of, like, we didn't want to overwhelm her, so we made some rules. We're only going to take out what she tells us or what she directs us, and we're going to clean only where she wants us to clean. But there was a fair group, and we got through all of her things, and I could not believe how many things she gave away or let us take away. But she sent the most incredible follow-up, and talked about how much freedom it had given her in her life to have her space back, and how she's now for the first time in years sitting at her table and being able to eat a meal and share a meal with people. And that just happened a few weeks ago. So that one was quite outstanding. And then we were able to also recently help a woman who was, interestingly, had some sort of quite a rare eye condition. So she needed to have a cataract surgery, but the lenses that they were going to use because of her eye condition, she had to pay quite a bit extra, even though she was on pharmacare and had all that coverage. It was quite an additional amount. And so we were able to support her with that. And of course, she was very grateful because it literally gave her sight, and that was quite profound. And again, we were very grateful to be able to do that, and she was very, very happy. So those are just the two that happened just not too long ago. But I feel, like I said to you, Grace, I feel very humble because we get to have those kinds of interactions and experiences quite often. So yeah, it's quite amazing. And then even from a national level, I get requests that come through national, just random people don't even identify. They just say, I live in BC, I need help, and here's a little bit of my story. And then I help identify where they're from, connect them to a conference. And just literally 2 days ago, I got a contact, and then the person identified as being in the Port Moody area, contacted that conference, and the next day they were visiting and providing help and support for that person. So as an organization, we're amazing, because we're able to respond and do that in such a holistic, but also very faith-based, but very powerful way that you're able to connect with people. So yeah, I have lots of stories I could tell you.
I know you do have. I know you do have. And that for me, it just says a lot as a Vincentian to say we are the first respondent to the ones that need, to our friends in need. And with what you just did for the two people the friends in need that you helped, it gave them a sense of belonging, a sense of acceptance. Now they can live freely, they can be happy. It's the small things that matter. Some of us, it might be just small things, but to the next person, it's something huge. You help that person move around their house and bring it back to its original state, bringing back dignity into their life. And now they can be able to enjoy a meal and just be happy. Whereas before, they were not comfortable to welcome you for a cup of tea, although they wanted to, but they could not. But now I'm sure they'll gladly say, okay, you guys can come over for a cup of tea as a token to just say, thank you for what you did for me. You just restored dignity. You just restored hope into my life, and also helping the person that restoring their vision back. It's just it's so amazing. St. Vincent de Paul does a lot. We help also, I think, with schooling, school fees for the kids that want to go hospital. It's a lot that St. Vincent de Paul does. They also offer counseling to those that need help, because you find that there's somebody, they don't need food, or they just need counseling. Maybe they're on the verge of suicidal, their mental health.
And prayer. Yeah.
Steps in and prays. And we live the life of Blessed Frédéric Ozanam, where he went out there to help our friends in need. So this is us now going out there to helping our friends in need. Celebrating the feast of St. Vincent de Paul. The feast of St. Vincent de Paul, I would say, was celebrated on the 27th of September. How has it marked this year in BC, and what were your key highlights in celebrating this? I know you're going to be celebrating, but what are the key highlights that St. Vincent de Paul will be doing in commemorating of this feast?
And most of those commemorations or acknowledgements will happen at the conference level in the parish communities. I know I can speak to my conference because, as I said, we're very fortunate. Our priest was a Vincentian, so he has the heart of a Vincentian. So we're going to be talking from the pulpit and talking to people about the work that St. Vincent de Paul has been doing with the support of the parish, really acknowledging that we couldn't do it without their financial support. And just telling some of the stories, sharing some of the ways that I just shared with you that we've, impacted people's lives, been able to respond to them, and how we really owe the whole parish community a debt or a gratitude for being able to do that, and then inviting people to come and learn more. And I know a lot of conferences are doing that, using the opportunity to share about the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, its origin story, about St. Vincent de Paul and then Frédéric Ozanam, and inviting people to consider becoming a Vincentian or feeling if they're called. And I know we're going to have like a table at the back of the church to invite people to come and learn more about it, and just see. Hopefully, there'll be a movement, a movement towards more people wanting to become Vincentians.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I'm so sad that I'm going to miss it this year again, second year in a row, missing the celebration. But I'll be with everyone in spirit, and I'm still finding where I can be able to attend that day, the first day, the 27th, and to just go out there and just offer my services. If I can't, I'll try and do it also in my parish, to just go out there and just spend time either in prayer or just try and find something to do in commemoration of the feast day of Saint Vincent de Paul Day. Inspiring others through Saint Vincent de Paul service. What advice would you give someone who feels called to serve but does not know where to begin?
Well, I would say just answer that calling and find a way to connect with someone that maybe you've seen out doing the work, or doing, connecting with people, whatever you feel comfortable. I know you spoke earlier about people's comfort zones. Some people have varying capacity but degrees of comfort as to what they're able and willing to do. I can say just about any person will find a way within their own abilities to give. I have one lady that's in my parish community, and she loves to online shop. And so she finds these amazing deals for beautiful, warm coats or warm boots. And then she just contacts us and she says, "Hey, I got these 2 coats and a couple of pairs of boots." And that's her way of being able to contribute, because she doesn't want to connect completely. Like, she doesn't have the comfort or the ability to get out and be out in the community and meeting with people. But that's her way, and she just loves it. And then when the person is okay with it, as they receive those goods that she provides, we take a photo. It could be even from the back of them, and that's her way of seeing what she's doing, connecting to people. People have varying ways. Some people are just very comfortable making a donation, like a monetary donation. But then there are others, like I say, with the community meal, that really have a hunger for wanting to sit with people and connect with people. There's so many ways that people can give from their heart, with their skill set, with their capacity, within their means. I know once they find that way, it really does impact them. And of course, it helps our friends in need. It helps people in need. So,
yeah. Thank you so much. Second last question. Finding joy through Vincentian service. How do you stay motivated and joyful while serving others?
Oh, that's easy. It's because of the connection you have with people, not only the Vincentians, fellow Vincentians, and the people who are called to this. It's the people that you get to connect with, because I would never give that up. Like, that's one thing that I think I love the most about the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, because even though you take on other levels, like if you go to the regional level or the national level in some role, you're still connected at your conference. You're still connected with the work on the ground, so to speak. You're connected with the people in your community. And that's what absolutely gives, well, for me, it gives me untold joy and a connection to, not only the individuals, like you say, the people that have a need, but it feeds me. It gives me a sense of connection, and I always say I get way more out of it than I give. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you. Our final question for you, Belinda. St. Vincent's legacy, a call to all. What key message would you leave with listeners about living a faith-filled life through service?
Oh, just let it come to you. I think we're all, each of us are called to give. I think we've lost for a lot of us, and in a lot of in the world that we live in, that connection, that importance of being all God's children, all called, all together. Let it come to you. Stay in the quiet, be reflective, pray about it, and find that way that you're going to want to respond. There's so many people in the world that are so troubled, and I feel that it would be such a benefit for people to learn how to, or to find that way to give back, because in fact you're the one who benefits the most from it, and feeling that connection to our fellow human beings, and that we are all one, we are all children of God, and we all need to be somehow feel that very, very deeply, so that we can then manifest that. We can make it to the benefit of everyone, ourselves included. Finding that calling and finding that way to feel part of that one family. Yeah, it would be, what a world we would have if we all listened to, I guess, that call to our hearts. And
Oh, wow. Thank you. Called to serve, called to our hearts. And yeah, for me, it's really, really amazing. I'm really proud to be a Vincentian, and I'll always be a Vincentian. Like they say, once a Vincentian, always a Vincentian. Wherever I go, I will find a St. Vincent de Paul conference. You can take me anyway today. I will do my research first before I leave to try and find where can I get the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, because I just feel, for me personally, I am called to serve. Learned this from a very young age from my parents, because they used to give without expecting anything in return. Because my parents used to say, when you give, you're not doing it for the world to see. You're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for the glory of God,
yes.
because you never know where your blessings come from. I am helping the next person, not for the family or for the neighbors or for the society to see that you have helped, but you're helping because tomorrow is not guaranteed. You never know what happens tomorrow. And so for me, started doing charity work from a very young age, and I will continue doing it in whether I'm 90 or I'm 100. I'll continue being a Vincentian, and I'll continue giving back to the community and serving. Hence, faith, purpose, and power. I have faith that I'll be able to do more. My purpose is to go out there and help others. The power that I have to give it to others. So,
Mm.
yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your heart, your journey, and the mission of St. Vincent de Paul. You have reminded us that living faith is not just about words; it's about action and compassion and hope. To our wonderful listeners, thank you so much for joining us throughout this month. Your faith, your love, and support means so much. I encourage you to share this episode with your friends, family, Keep the faith going, continue your calling, and let's grow together, serve with joy, and make a difference in the lives of our friends in need. Our quote for today, reflection quote, it's from Blessed Frédéric Ozanam. You must be a work of love, of kindness. You must give your time, your talents, and your service. Your works must be a work of love, of kindness. You must give your time, your talents, yourselves. I'll repeat that again. Yours must be a work of love, of kindness. You must give your time, your talents, and yourself. That is a quote by Blessed Frédéric Ozanam. We pray that one day he'll be declared a saint. We're hoping and praying Pope Leo will be able to declare him a saint. Hopefully, it's coming years that he'll be declared a saint. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Faith, Purpose, and Power on Spotify, YouTube, and all social media channels. Use the hashtag Faith, Purpose, and Power, Faith, Purpose, and Power, to share your reflections. Catch up on all other episodes that you might have missed on Spotify, YouTube, and don't forget to support our mission. Donations at radiomaria.ca. Donations at radiomaria.ca. And remember, you can also listen to us live and on demand on www.radiomaria.ca. www.radiomaria.ca. Remember, God loves you. I love you. The best is yet to come. Stay blessed and keep walking in faith, purpose, and power. Thank you, Belinda.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the program Faith, Purpose, and Power with Grace Shonhiwa here on Radio Maria Canada, a Catholic voice wherever you are.